With the appointment of the cabinet last week and all of the swearing in of the newly elected and re-elected MLAs in Victoria, we come out of a period that's referred to as the interregnum period. It's a period when one government dissolves and another government takes over. And for a local government, that sometimes is an awkward period because we don't have the ability to speak to the provincial government. Most of the bureaucracies have to down tools. They still do their normal daily work, but anything that involves other levels of government or any strategic initiatives, they have to wait until the new government forms. So we were really happy last week when the cabinet was sworn in. The new government's come into power. We now have a majority government for 4 years, and quite frankly, I'm really excited about the new cabinet, both with respect to the personalities on that cabinet and their mandate letters. In particular, the continuity in health with Minister Dix is very good for Quesnel, as is the continuity with Minister Popham in agriculture. Both of those ministers have been in Quesnel. Both of them have funded pretty strategic initiatives in our community, and so we'll begin to redevelop those relationships with them and make sure those initiatives continue. With some of the new cabinet positions, we do have continuing relationships in a new and different way with some of the former ministers. So Minister Rob Fleming, who was formerly with Education, is now moved into Transportation. And for us, that's really a good news situation because Minister Fleming in Education really helped us to find the funding to make the new junior school possible up at Maple Drive. He is also very aware of how important the Interconnector project is to this community and to our future, and so it's great to have Rob in that role. Ravi Canlon was the Parliamentary Secretary for the Minister of Forests, who now takes over the Economic Recovery and Jobs portfolio as a minister, and Ravi is very aware of our transition strategy, and he also has a continuing role in the evolution of the forest sector. I'm particularly excited to have a good friend, Katrina Conroy, to be the first female forest minister in the province of British Columbia. I think that's exciting in and of itself, but Katrina is also someone who's very familiar with Quesnel, very familiar with the industry, and I think is going to be someone that we really can develop a relationship with for all of our forestry initiatives and for the reinvention of the forest sector. And she's going to be assisted by Nathan Cullen, a former MP, who now has taken over the role of Minister of State for Lands and Natural Resource Operations. And that Minister of State position is to develop a brand new Ministry of Lands and Natural Resource Operations. Again, Nathan and I are long-term friends. We've worked together on a number of initiatives over the years, and he's very familiar, coming from where he lives, with natural resource communities, our dependence on that land base, and the need to have us involved in that process. And then finally, but not the least, having Selina Robinson in finance, I think is great. I think Carol James was a phenomenal finance minister. I think Selina stepping into that role from the municipal affairs portfolio, from that local government mindset, is really beneficial to us during this COVID recovery period and with so many local governments, particularly rural communities in transition. And again, assisting her in that idea of relationship with local government is a new minister, Josie Osborne, from Tofino. She's the former mayor of Tofino, very much aligned with our thinking here in Quesnel about our transition strategy. And she's been given in her mandate letter the responsibility for dealing with infrastructure projects and particularly transportation projects. So again, between Rob Fleming and Josie, we have an opportunity to advance our Interconnector project, which is our #1 priority for the next couple of years. So I'm really thrilled that the Premier has put together a cabinet that I believe is a strong cabinet. It's a strong cabinet in its focus for the entire province. I believe with this cabinet, there is hope beyond hope, as some sometimes say. And I think that the Premier has a very strong team to take us through both this COVID time and the COVID recovery, and in our case, our transition strategy. So I'm looking forward to working with the new provincial cabinet.